Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Terminal 3 is out and about, news-wise at least. It's not out in the OCG, but the announcement is here. We know for a fact that it's coming in November for the OCG. We know that Teller Knights are in, and we know that X-Sabers are in, and that's what we're talking about today. We're going to go through the cards that X-Sabers already have in their archetype at this point that could have some use in whatever the deck ends up being, culminating in when they get their new support. But this one's tough, man. We did Teller Knights first, and that video ran a little long because they had a lot of good cards. This video is not going to be like that one, okay? This is definitely one of the dud archetypes of dual terminal. Not in that it's a dud in that it never had any success whatsoever. When it came out, it actually was good a long time ago. Just Konami hasn't followed up with support. So where the deck is right now is a dud archetype, but 5 new cards, maybe they can make a cool engine, maybe even a real deck out of this. We'll see where they end up though. So let's get into this thing. Let's start off with some of the cards here in this archetype that actually have something going for them, even though you'll see pretty quickly where we land. All right, so first off, we'll start off with X-SABER Airbellum. This card is not good, but it's a tuner. And if it inflicts battle damage via a direct attack, you can hand rip your opponent. In modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, if I'm attacking directly, I'm hoping that I'm like OTKing you. Like, you know what I mean? I'm ending the duel if I'm attacking you directly in most cases. So like, what scenarios are we ever having this on field, choosing not to synchro with it yet, but we are just going battle phase to rip a card I don't know. It seems like a weird scenario where like, what are we doing here? It's fine though. The fact that it's a tuner kind of helps, and maybe we get a new in-engine way to just like get this card out so freely that maybe we are actually able to hand rip at times, but we'll see. Next up here we get X-SABER Boggart Knight. This card on normal can special summon a level 4 lower X-SABER from hand. That's kind of nice, pulling another card out of the hand. Listen, for modern day standards, that's not really that good. That's just what, Goblinberg, in archetype Goblinberg, but still not like really a starter unless you open like a card that gets you into a good synchro from there. Just okay. Next up, you have X-SABER Dark Soul on the end phase. If this card is sent, it was sent from the field to the graveyard this turn, you can add an X-SABER monster from deck to hand. It's a search, but like this card doesn't do anything else aside from that. So you basically are just trying to like get this on field to get it engrave and then get a search for something. Maybe Konami will do something cheeky here and give this archetype like a really good in-archetype like hand trap. That way, if you use this card, you're going to search the hand trap on end phase, end on a good synchro, and actually have something going there. But right now, this card is just so slow. So slow. Next up, you move to X-SABER Fall Troll. If you control 2 X-Sabers, you can special summon this card from the hand. And once per turn, you can reborn a level 4 lower X-SABER from grave. Not a bad card when you read it that way. This card needing 2 X-Sabers on field, it's kind of annoying. It means like 1 X-Saber on field. Like even if the deck gets a good normal summon, right? You normal summon it gets negated. This card is stuck in hand. You have to put a second X-Saber on field for this to work, right? So I don't know. In a world where like there could be combos where this card is kind of nice to facilitate being able to keep pushing, but yeah, for right now, just okay. X-SABER Ragigura. On normal or special, you can add an X-SABER from grave back to hand. Sure. A lot of them aren't once per turn at all, so potentially looping stuff could actually be kind of cheeky. I don't hate that. And then that's it. Those are your main deck monsters. No starters. Barely extenders. Cards are rough. That's a rough patch of monsters to be like the only monsters we have to work with at this point. For spells, let's start with Gotams' Second Call. It's a normal spell. If you control an X-SABER synchro, target 2 X-SABER monsters, special summon both in your graveyard. Special summon both, ignoring their summoning conditions, but change their attack to 0 and destroy them on the end phase. Hard ones return, and you can't use your battle phase the turn you use it. This card's actually okay. Reborn 2, they are negated and 0, but this is a synchro deck. If we're just reborning 2 monsters that just get us directly into another synchro, I'm actually not too mad about it. So yeah, this card's actually like kind of nice. This could totally be like if we got a synchro that searches like a Gotams Speller Trap on summon, and then you can just search this, and this just reborns the 2 materials you used to make it, and then you make another synchro. Like I think I'm actually okay with that. Like that's actually one of the better cards in the deck. Saber Slash. Destroy a number of face-up cards on the field up to the number of face-up attack position X-SABER monsters you control. It's so fine. It doesn't even have X-SABER in the name, so I doubt this card's even going to be searchable. Rough. This card's rough, man. Gotams Emergency Call. This does have Gotams in the name, so, potentially searchable. If a face-up X-SABER monster is on the field, you can target 2 X-SABERs in any graveyard, special summon both to your side of the field. It's Call the Haunted, but it's Call the Haunted for 2, but you also need an X-SABER on field. It's a trap. It's probably too slow, but it's like, at least you can see maybe there's a world it does something. Saber Hole, we have another Saber speller trap that we don't even know would be searchable. Right? Because if something searches X-SABER cards, it wouldn't search these, but whatever. Activate this while you control a face-up X-SABER monster. Negate the summon of a monster and destroy it. So you can negate inherent summons, I believe, based off how this is worded. Actually not terrible. If you're able to get this really easily with the deck, then sure. That's not a terrible end board piece, but yeah, I'm not even sure if it's going to be searchable. And that's it for spells and traps. Again, no real starter cards. You got a Monster Reborn card. You got some removal pieces. What are we doing here? All right, into the extra deck. Some synchros. X-SABER Wayne. I actually don't mind this card. On Synchro Summon, you can special summon a level 4 lower warrior from your hand. Just go ahead and pull a warrior out of your hand, why don't you? Now, the deck is not entirely warrior. That's what makes this card a little bit awkward, is that the deck has beasts and beast warriors as well as warriors. So you could just easily not have a warrior in hand because the deck doesn't even have that many. So we'll see. But maybe there's combos where you're searching a warrior, you're making this, you're pulling the warrior out of the hand, and it's all working together pretty well. X-SABER Gotams. This is the guy. This is the guy you need to be concerned with this new support, because when you have an archetype like this, where the base cards that this deck already has are not really that great, would they take a Naturia route like they did a couple of years ago when they got Naturia support, where they just kind of made a new engine out of it and abused a couple of the end board pieces that existed prior, but the engine was basically entirely revamped. This is the one piece that makes me go, dang, that card's kind of scary. So if Konami just comes out of here and shows us a 5-card wave of just a way to make X-SABER Gotams with 2 or 3 other X-SABERs on field, I'm terrified, because that means they have the potential to just hand loop for 3, maybe even have an infinite hand loop. Who knows? But yeah, very scary. If you don't know what this guy does, he's a big boy. He's a Synchro 9 though, and somewhat generic. You contribute any X-SABER to discard a random card from your opponent's hand, not once per turn. So as long as you can keep putting X-SABERs on field, by the way, that includes himself, so he counts as a hand rip. If you put 2 others on field, you can get 3 hand rips. You put 3 others on field, you're talking 4 hand rips. It can get pretty crazy for sure. And the fact that this guy basically only needs an Earth non-tuner makes him actually fairly generic. So I'd be concerned about this card a little bit, depending on where they take the new support. Next up, we have X-SABER Hun Lee. When this card is Synchro Summoned, you can select and destroy up to 3 Speller Trap cards on the field. It's actually a pretty good card. Just weirdly, this deck, the extra deck tools don't really give you much monster removal, but then they just give you pop 3 back row, which is kind of really good. So yeah, this card's actually kind of nice, but it is still a utility card. It's not a card you're using in every duel. How many matchups does it actually matter popping 3 back row? So good to keep in the back pocket, but not a crazy card. And then lastly, worth mentioning, I guess, is MX-SABER Invoker. Not even legal in the TCG currently, but I don't remember if it's the OCG or Master Duel or both. One of those formats, some of those other formats, whatever combination, has this card legal, done basically nothing. It got released actually multiple ban lists ago, and we've heard nothing from anybody being oh, that card's ruining the format. Look at that. It's crazy. They should have never released it. Nope. So is there a world it gets unbanned for us? And then it's actually a fairly cool contributor that any rank 3 engine now can facilitate this deck, assuming they get a new level 4 Earth warrior or beast warrior that's actually a really good engine starter. Who knows? I don't know. It's possible, but that does allow for some other engines to help this deck out if it's hard for Konami to really turn 5 new cards into a fully developed deck. Maybe this allows for some extra main deck tools. Maybe you start playing the Speedroid engine just because you can make this without normal summon, get into your X-SABER combos. and make it, you know, cheeky at least. But that's everything. That's all this deck really has available to it at this point in time. I don't even know where they take this, man. I mean, this is one of those where like you really have to look at the Naturia kind of setup of this, where like I almost I almost think it might be in Konami's best interest to just make a new 5-card engine. They have X-SABER in the name, so the nostalgia might still hit, and they might have some of the attributes that go with some of the old X-SABER cards. But to be honest, without being too rude, maybe I could see Gotham's second call being like an in-engine card you play to search out, and like as part of a combo, it's letting you synchro, revive the 2 materials you use for the synchro, and keep going. But outside of this card, I'm not 100% certain there's another card here outside. Like, this is a guy I don't want to be relevant, and I'm scared he could be with the new support. But like outside of him and the spell, I'm kind of like, I don't know if there's another card here that I'm like summoning one from hand. That's Goblinberg. Goblinberg has been not good enough for like 10 years. Dark Soul searches on end phase, not good enough. Fall Troll just needs too much requirement on field, but it's like, okay, maybe it could be part of combos. Who knows? Maybe it's a one of. Like, and nothing else here is like a really wow. Hun Lee's nice utility, but popping back row is just not enough to make a deck good. And X-SABER Ogre obviously could be crazy if he gets unbanned, but we have to see what the new support is, and we'd have to see it get unbanned. You're kind of asking for multiple things to happen there. I don't know. It feels like to me like they almost need to like just start from scratch, kind of. Maybe not entirely, but like 90%. Like this new engine, these new 5 cards need to be 90% of what the deck is going to be going forward, because these cards, man, they just don't hold up. But I'm okay. Like I'd be okay if Konami made a new 5-card engine and it's the new, I don't want to say Fiendsmith, because there's a lot of people who don't like Fiendsmith because it's overplayed, but maybe it works with a couple different decks. Maybe it's just like an Earth support engine now going forward. Like it's really good with just Earth decks in general. And, you know, the handful of respectable Earth decks out there now get to splash in, you know, an X-SABER engine, and it actually works pretty well, and you're able to make good synchro lines and get good payoff off of it. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. But for right now, it's just okay. And not even okay. It's like in the best case scenario, it's just okay. But it's a tough place to be. I don't know. I'm also not an X-SABER savant. Anybody who actually played X-SABER 15 odd years ago, however long that was, like this deck was playable so long ago. I'd love to hear someone from that perspective's thoughts on it. What do they want to see? Are you okay with it Konami not really caring about it getting that competitive and just making it like, giving it something where you can like take it to locals and not feel like an idiot type thing, and you're okay with that, but they don't need to force it into, you know, competitive play with like crazy new stuff. I'd love to hear somebody's thoughts on that, because this is largely a nostalgia pull, this type of archetype, but it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. What do you think on new X-SABER support? 5 new cards. What direction do you think Konami needs to take with these? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that down below. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel for more. Peace.